What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the outside air temp sensor, also known as an ambient air temp sensor, on this 2001 BMW 325Xi. If your air conditioning isn't working properly or the gauge on your dash is not accurate, this may be your problem. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1aauto.com. All right, I want to loosen up these lug bolts. I'm going to use a 17mm socket and a breaker bar. Loosen them up. Now I'm going to raise and support the vehicle. We're using a 2-post lift. If you're doing this at your house, you can use a jack and jack stands. Now I'll take these lug bolts out. Just use the socket to help you get them out. I'm gonna just hold the wheel with my other hand so it doesn't fall. Take the last one out. Then I can grab the wheel and slide it off. With the wheel off, I'm gonna take these screws off right here. There's 3 of those. I could take this extra 4th one out for the top cover if I need a little more room. I'm just gonna use an 8mm socket and an electric ratchet. If you don't have an electric ratchet, you can use a regular ratchet. Oops. Oh, need an extension for that. So for this one, I just use an extension. It's a little bit easier. And then I'm just gonna take this one out just because. Then I have more room to play with. Now there's 2 screws right here. Same 8mm socket and a ratchet. Take those out. Now I should be able to just grab this. There is a little clip that was holding that in right there. And there is a clip over here. Just slide that out like that. And this slides right out, just like that. And you can disconnect the connector right there. Just push down on the tab, slide it out. To take this off the panel, I'm just gonna go behind the panel, put my finger there, just rotate this a little bit, and then just slide it up. And I can pull it through, just like that. That's how I got the old one out. Here's the old sensor. Here's the new ambient air temp sensor from 1aauto.com. It has the same shape, has the same connector. The new sensor actually comes with a wire connector. If your wire connector broke or if the vehicle got in an accident, a lot of times that shield gets ripped off and then the wire will get ripped out. So it's good to have that. Get yours at 1aauto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. So we're gonna look at our connector, and it comes with a new connector because a lot of times this shield will get knocked off and then it'll cut the wires if the vehicle's in an accident or if you hit a curb or something. So it's kind of nice that this kit comes with this if you need it. This vehicle doesn't need it. What you can do is just check your old wires, just go along here, see if there's any parts that seem like brittle. If you peel back on the electrical tape, just take a look and just see if you see any corrosion or anything. These wires are good, so we're not going to have to replace these. But when you are replacing these, if this connector is missing, then when you're looking at the connector with the lock on the top side, the blue and brown wire is going to be on the right side. So you're going to want to hook that wire to that blue and brown wire. And then the other wire, the red and blue wire, is going to go to the left side when you're looking at the connector. Okay, it may not make a difference, but it's always good to match what's in the vehicle as it is. So when you want to connect the wires together, what you want to do is have a fresh piece of wire on here. Now, that's a little bit on the smaller side, so what you could do is take some wire strippers and just strip a little bit more off, find the right size. And pull the wire. That's almost a little bit too much. But you can also take some of these style connectors. They do make these style connectors that actually have shrink wrap on them. That would be ideal. Twist these wires a little bit. And you're going to want to do this to both sides. So you do it on the connector side and then you do it on the vehicle harness side. Slide this on just like that. And then you could crimp this down. Now if you had this kind, this is not a weather sealed connector, so you're going to want to take a little bit of shrink wrap. Slide that over first. You can put this connector on. Get that in the right position. And then with these wire strippers, actually have this crimper right here. You pick the appropriate color and then you just squeeze real tight. That's good, that crimps it. And then I just grab the connector and just wiggle it, make sure it's tight. If it's not that tight, go back and tighten it down a little bit more. Then you can take the shrink wrap, slide it over, and then you connect the other wire in over there, and then use a heat gun and shrink wrap this down to the wire. And then it's a good idea to take electrical tape and tape it all up. You can also use, ideal would be using solder and shrink wrap, but sometimes that's not always accessible. So these generally work pretty good, just as long as you have them, whether using the shrink wrap so that the weather stays out of them. Then they won't corrode and stuff. All right, so our wires are good, so I'm not gonna replace the connector on this vehicle. I did cut the electrical tape that I pulled back a little bit. I'm just gonna replace that. What I wanna do is just hold the wire tight as possible. You could actually have a friend hold that for you, and then just tape this up. Try to make it look factory as much as possible. I'll just cut the end off. That's good. Now we'll take the cover, slide the new sensor into the cover, lock it in place, just like that. Now just take the connector and we're going to plug it into the ambient air temp sensor. Just switch this around so that lines up. Lock that in place, make sure it's tight. And then reinstall the cover. Now you could probably do this job without taking the cover off. Now we need to slide, there's a little slit right here that needs to slide in over here. Lock that in place. And this has to go underneath this other cover. Probably would be easier to slide that in first. Just like that. All right, that's in position. Now take these two screws from underneath, get these started. Down there and right here. Take my electric ratchet and 8mm socket, tighten these up. Just snug. It's good. All right, and I'm gonna reinstall these screws. Just get them all started first, and then I'll tighten them down. Take that same 8mm socket, and electric ratchet, tighten them down. It's good to go. Now I'm going to install the wheel, line it up with the lug holes, and I'll hold the wheel on, grab a socket with my lug bolt, get that started. All right, now I can lower the vehicle and torque the lug nuts. Now I'm going to use a 17mm socket and this torque wrench that we sell at 1aauto.com. I'm going to torque these lug bolts to 95 foot-pounds in a star pattern so that it torques the wheel down evenly. We'll just go around again.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.